Well, looks like AEW Dynamite turned out to be a terrible show tonight. And the Godfather Soldiers from Slim named my topic tonight is called Pain. Pathetic and poor in Pittsburgh. That's my topic tonight. So stick around, right back and break it down. But before I do, I'm gonna open the show a little bit of music. I'm gonna open the show with a theme from Growing Pains called "As Long as We Got Each Other" by B.J. Thomas, the late B.J. Thomas and the late Dusty Springfield. So stick around, right back. Get the music playing. Here it is. I'll be right back. that's all you just heard. As long the theme from Growing Pains, as long as we got each other, all you just heard by the late B.J. Thomas, and the late Dusty Springfield. TV theme of the TV show Growing Pains. As long as we got each other. The show that ran from 1985 to 1992. So let's get down to business with tonight's show. Okay. It's Wednesday, everybody. You know what that means. Commentary kicks off the show by running down what is going down tonight. With that, we cut back to backstage where Hangman talks about Kyle Fletcher talking about his limit at All Out. But he's still the champion coming out of it. He hopes Fletcher is watching tonight as Page defends his title against the Ring of Honor Pure Champion Lee Moriarty, telling Lee he better be on his A game tonight. With that, we head to ringside for our opening contest. Out first are GOA making their way down the ramp as an inset promo gives us words from Ricochet talking about taking out the Hurt Syndicate and how GOA look to take the tag titles tonight. The Champs make their entrance next as we get a look at highlights from the ladder match at All Out. The Champs in the ring, we get this match underway. Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion Brody O defends against GOA. We look to start off with Leon and Brody, and Bandito insists on going up against Toa. Bandito lands a shot that bravely phases Leona, but the Ring of Honor World Champion uses his quickness to stay on top of things. He hits a double kicks before Teola hits swats him away, and a tag is made to Khan to continue the damage. Some shots from Bandito ends up with Bishop taking him to the mat, but Bandito comes back strong, lifting Khan up. Bishop breaks free to send the champ to the corner with a hammer throw. The impact forcing Bandito to the mat as Khan gets a boot from him from a near fall. Tag made to Leon. Hold on a second. Tag made to Leona, who continues inflicting pain on the champ before landing a scoop slam. Khan tags back in for a few shots of his own before tagging Leona. Toa keeps up the work on Bandito before the latter manages to make a tag to Brody King. Brody goes to work on taking Leona out of the equation before hitting a lariat on Khan, making the cover for a two count. He sends Bishop to the corner for a suplex, but gets knocked off by Khan before Leola charges into the level by leveling the playing field. This gives Khan an opening for a near fall of his own before we go to an ad break on HBO Max. Full ad break on HBO Max. Back from the break, GOA and Brody have Brody King down for a near fall by Khan, but King manages to battle back to get back on to the tag to Bandito. He goes off like a rocket against the gates, sending Khan away before dodging a charge from Leona. He goes for a cannonball Brody style, but he gets caught off by Bishop, who sends Leona in the corner. He brings Teola to the middle of the ring for the cover, but Leona kicks out with authority. He looks for a 21 plex on Teola, but this gets cut off by Khan, who makes a blind tie to stay on top of things. As GOA double team the champ. He prop him up on the turnbuckle, but Bandito fights back as Brody gets involved to bring Leona out of the ring. The big men go at it as Khan counters the offense from Bandito. Leona sends Brody into the timekeeper area, drawing the attention of the ref, allowing Ricochet to run down the ring with a chair. Before he can take a swing at Bandito, however, the ref catches him and ejects him from the ringside. The crowd cheers as Bandito rolls up Bishop for a near fall. For Tioa comes back into the ring to attack the champ. Khan makes a cover, and it looks like we may have new champions before King breaks the pin at the last second. King sends Leona out of the ring as Bandito hits a 21 plex with a bridge on Khan for the win to retain the titles. Winners via pinfall and still AEW World Tag Team Champions Rodeo. We cut backstage to hear from the conglomeration with some very heavy hints about who the mystery partner is for the trios match tonight. Very heavy hinting. So heavy, in fact, that someone personally gave this whole segment a weak will thumbs up. The group leaves with a backstage area with a curious warning from whatever hologram's new rival is close to the segment before we go to a commercial. Commercial break. We head to backstage. We hear from Chris Statlander and Harley Cameron as Chris addresses her title match tonight and the ongoing situation with the Death Riders before taking her leave. Backstage, back at ringside, the AEW World Champion comes out first, presumably to let his challenger enjoy the pop from the hometown crowd. Adam Page enters the ring as we get a video package showcasing Lee Moriarty, who does this in fact to get a great hometown pop as he heads to the ring to get this match underway. The AEW World Tag Team Champion Open Challenge. Hangman Adam Page defends against Ring of Honor Pure Champion Lee Moriarty. The two men circle the mat before locking up, with Moriarty using his technique to escape a wrist lock by the World Champion. Lee takes the Hangman to the mat before locking in the head scissors to keep the pressure on Page. He bridges out before escaping the hold. Page back on his feet as Moriarty stands up as well. Looking for a test of strength, Hangman obliges as we get a Rico Roman grip in place, with each man looking for the upper hand until Page takes the Ring of Honor Pure Champion to the mat. Moriarty to be able to stop a count before getting back to his feet, turning things around on the AEW World Champion with a few well-timed holds for sending Page to the corner. He backs away as Page looks to get back into it. Both men hit it to the ropes before Page takes control with a shoulder tackle, sending Lee to the mat. Both men are back up as Page evades the kick before taking Moriarty to the mat with a body slam, only for Lee to land a kick to keep the Hangman away as we go to an ad break on HBO Max. Back from break, Lee has Page on the ropes, but is sent over the apron by the World Champion, on for his challenger to catch him on top of the rope. Top rope on Lee on the way down on the floor. Lee comes back with a springboard forearm in a cover, getting close for a near fall before Page kicks out. With both men back up, they trade strikes. Before Lee hits the ropes, only to be sent flying with a back body drop. Page stays in control with a fall away slam before he kips up, catching the challenger with the Death Valley driver for a 2 count. For a 2 count. Lee is able to get back into with as he sends the world champion to the corner for countering a deadeye attempt into an octopus hold. He transitions to a cradle for a 2 count before moving into a Motor City stretch to get the Hangman in a world of trouble. Page manages to power up to his feet, landing a short arm lariat and a deadeye for the win. Yeah, winner by pinfall and still AEW World Champion Hangman and Page. We cut the footage from after All Out as Adam Copeland and Christian Cage dressed what FTR did. With Cope saying he has to go, he doesn't want to take it, and he doesn't want if he's coming back. Cage says he doesn't have a family anymore, so go take of yours. Coates reminds us of his old friend that he does have a family, and shake hands before Cope runs off. We're reminded that FTR will speak tonight. Up next. In fact, we head as we head to commercial break. Back from commercial, back to ringside as Tony Schiavone introduces FTR and Big Stoke to come to the ring. Dax has some choice awards with a fan on the way to the ring before FTR and their man Stokely get into more boos from the crowd. Cash Wheeler takes the microphone saying he'd like to do this himself. He says they deserve the reaction they are getting, claiming that the actions they did on Saturday were not meant to go that way. Calls Cope out Cope for having his so-called childhood best friends and wife out before Stoke takes the mic to forgive Beth for what she did to him at All Out. He says he was running up the ramp not to run away from Beth, but to introduce herself, even suggesting because he allowed Beth to spear him and carry him to the back. He says Cope and Cage need to Beth to win, and that the worst part is Beth doesn't even work here. Dex says he was advised to come out here on television and apologize. He will not apologize for dropping Cope and Cage on their heads and necks. But he says he will never initially try to hurt Beth. Beth punched him in the nose, watered his eyes, and in confusion, he thought Beth was Cope and dropped her on her head by accident. He learned a lesson that night. He hopes to Beth did so too. He would because he would never lay hands on a woman, though Beth with used the word loosely. Dax is cut off by Willow Nightingale curiously. Willow comes to the ring first to address the fake apology from FTR before turning her attention to Beth Copeland. She talks about how of an inspiration Beth is to her. even saying women like Beth are the reason Willow came back from a broken freaking neck. The first reference to Kurt Angle from Pittsburgh, who was a native there. But most of all, women like Beth are a reason. Like a woman, Willow doesn't take shit from guys like FTR. She implores them to give their apology another go. For Stoke interrupts to say it must be past Willow's bedtime. This gets a shot to the Willow gives a shot to the head by Willow Nightingale. But before FTR can retaliate, Speedball come down to even things up. FTR reluctantly leaves the ring with a big Stoke regrouping on the ramp. We cut to MJF after his match at All Out, where he talks about everything he's done for AEW over the past few years and all the doubts that have come from it. He says something is missing, that he is not MJF but a caricature. He calls the text his doubts. Say he can't come back until he is himself again. But most importantly, he will come back when only he is the most dangerous self. His most dangerous self takes a rack of himself. Talking about his doubts. Talking about eating his doubts and speeding them up, as he does with the tech. He says he will be back to do things the only way he knows how, whether they like it or not, or his way. Back at ringside, Don Callis family make their way out next for this next trios match. Don Callis gets a microphone to talk about his skills as an artist, showing off his paintings on the screen before saying he's been working on his masterpiece for the past 6 years, 6 days and 6 nights. Tonight he reveals that his masterpiece is so big that they can roll it out. A couple of stagehands bring out a curious looking cart with the painting as Don hypes it up. He tells the crew to unveil the painting, and Orange Cassidy's music hits as he pops out with the painting instead. The rest of the conglomeration comes out to get things going. A brawl that finally gets this match underway. The conglomeration versus Don Callis family. The chaos stays largely on the outside as Briscoe hits a big dive to the outside, followed by a relaxed drop by a fleshy squeeze. All in the midst of all these things, the bell actually rings. We start off officially with Cassidy and Hishishiro before Briscoe and then Hologram gets tags to hit with a few shots of their own. Tag made to bring Cassidy back in, who hits precisely one punch to a big pop from the crowd. Hologram tags back in for a flurry of offense on Hishishiro, but this gets turned around as Hologram is dropped to the mat hard with a cutler before we go to get an ad break on HBO Max. Back from break, Hologram is taken down once again by Hishishiro, who makes his way back into the ring with a springboard splash. Hishishiro takes a head scissors by Hologram for his troubles. For Takashi runs to get involved, he gets taken out as Okada runs in with a tag to knock the conglomeration off the camp, only to get caught with a flurry of offense by Briscoe, which culminates in a fisherman's buster for a 2 count. Two count, yeah. Okada starts to get the other shots on Briscoe, who gets a tag to Cassidy. Orange gives a hug to his former Chaos teammate who just looks at him confused for working with Takashita to take the former international champion down to the mat. Hologram tries to help out but takes some damage from the Rainmaker. Okada takes Takashita to stare each other down for a few moments before Cassidy gets involved in his dangerous kicks. He sends Okada to the outside, but Sherry has made the tag, taking Cassidy for a ride before sending him to the mat. Hologram gets the drop on him before chaos ensues, leading to Takashita dropping Hologram with a driver, only for Hologram to respond by dropping Takashita down to send him out of the ring. Hashira grabs Hologram, but is taken off his game by an orange punch, allowing Hologram to hit it with a portal bomb with a win. Wins via pinfall conglomeration. There's no time for celebration as Kyle Fletcher comes out to welcome Orange Cassidy back. But also for something that is more of something is of importance to conglomeration. He proved on Saturday that he belongs in the main event, saying he knows he'll be a world champion someday. He then looks in the ring and sees a bunch of dorks acknowledging Hologram's long running winning streak. He notes that Hologram is 30, 40, 30, 0, or should I say 34, and scared of Kyle Fletcher. Fletcher wants to be the one who gives Hologram his first loss in an AEW ring, so he issues a challenge to Hologram, title versus streak for the NTNT Championship next week. Kyle Fletcher, young. Fletcher wants to be the one who gives Hologram his first loss in the AEW ring, so issues a challenge to Hologram, title versus the streak for the TNT Championship next week in the 6th anniversary of Dynamite. When he beats Hologram, we will have to say Kyle's full name. Fletcher's music hits as we get a confirmation for next week. We head backstage to hear from Mina Shikara, who talks about her reign as interim women's world TV champion before saying she fights for Tony and for herself when she faces Clear Scotland for women's world championship. Commercial break, a video package, and a look at Jack Perry bringing back his old friend, Luchasaurus, resurrecting a partnership that saw highs and lows of all kinds to lash out against Young Bucks at All Out. Before we get confirmation that your Jurassic Express returns next week on Dynamite. And all the joy of playing Tarzan War gets sucked out of the ringside area as Claudio Castagnoli makes his way out for our next match, rocking through the crowd to get into the ring. Powerhouse Hobbs makes his entrance next, making a beeline for Claudio as we get this match underway. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Claudio Castagnoli. The two enter the ring with a back and forth. The two enter the ring with a back and forth strikes before Claudio starts to take control. He sends Hobbs to the mat with a back suplex, but Powerhouse Hobbs is back on his feet for some body slams on Castagnoli. He shows relative ease throwing Claudio around. For the former Ring of Honor World Champion clinches a hold on Hobbs to force both men to the outside. They go back and forth until Hobbs hits a set of headbutts, sending Claudio to the ring steps, only for Claudio to evade Hobbs charging at him. Powerhouse crashes into the steps, and Claudio picks him up for a back suplex of his own, sending Hobbs over the barricade into the crowd. He steps over to hoist the Hobbs and drops him into the barricade, this time causing some big damage on Powerhouse Hobbs, which go to a full ad break on HBO Max. Back from the break, Claudio brings Hobbs into the ring to garner a near fall. Both men fight to their feet and back and forth before they go for Powerhouse lands some hard shots on Castagnoli and sends him to the corner. Claudio escapes the corner now, setting up the Powerhouse up on the turnbuckle for a suplex to send Hobbs crashing. Covered by Claudio, but Hobbs kicks out at two. Claudio brings him back up for a series of upcuts, looking for a neutralizer before Hobbs counters for a body slam. Hobbs gets the near fall, but follows up with a few more body slams for good measure, until Claudio blocks one last slam attempt for an uppercut. He lays in some elbow shots before hitting the ropes, but Hobbs is barely fazed by the lariats before hitting the ropes for a clothesline. Another body slam by Powerhouse, but Pac comes in, rushing into the ring for a distraction, allowing Claudio to land on a running uppercut for a cradle for the win. Winner by pinfall, Claudio Castagnoli. Samoa Joe comes running out to scare off Pac as Hobbs sends Claudio out of the ring. The rest of the Riders come out for a sneak attack on Hobbs before Hobbs comes in to even things up. After a short scuffle, the Riders escape through the crowd, though not before Claudio demands the ref to raise his hand once more to remind everyone he won the match, as we get a word that Tony Khan's important announcement is up next. Commercial break. We head backstage for a big ring announcement from Tony Khan. He talks about all the greatest wrestlers and how strong the women's division has been in particular. Announcing that we're here to introducing new championships with a new women's tag team championship. Our first champions will be crowned very soon, says the AEW president. We head to ringside where Renee unveils new titles. The big news out of the way, we are ready for our next main event as Miki Shikara heads to the ring. First, out next is a champ as we get a look back at the manner from which Chris Statlander won the title All Out. With both women in the ring, it's time for our main event. AEW Women's World Championship match. Chris Statlander defends against interim Ring of Honor Women's World TV Champion Mina Shirakawa. The two go at it before Chris takes the challenger to the mat, but Mina is able to fight back before celebrating. This leads to Statlander picking her up, dropping Mina to the mat once more before opposing. Shirakawa takes the fight back to Statlander, sending her to the corner for some punches before Chris fights back for a drop kick. Hammer throw sends Mina to the corner, but she dodges a boot to hit a drop kick on the knee of the women's world champion before she brings her down hard to the floor through the ropes. She follows up by sending Chris into the steps for for added damage. Continuing to attack the leg before bringing the Statlander back into the ring break of the ref's count. Chris manages to fight back, dropping Mina into the ring, Mina to the apron before coming back into the ring as we go to an ad break on HBO Max. Full ad break on HBO Max. Mina back from the break. Mina gains control with a sling blade, sending Statlander to the mat. She continues the flurry of offense for a swing DDT off the ropes. She sets up for a stretch forward twist, with a twist, but Statlander breaks free to get send a challenger to the corner. She also encounters a glamour driver to go for a Saturday Night Fever, but Mina counters for a 2 count. Chris responds by taking Mina down for a near fall of her own. Mina, dragging screw by Mina twice over to keep Statlander's leg in pain. She climbs up top for a sling blade to keep Chris on the mat, getting to covering for to get a close 2 count. Long strike by Roundhouse by Mina, but Statlander hoists her up on her shoulders, only for Mina to counter out, setting in a figure 4 leg lock on the champion. Statlander is in trouble until she gets to the ropes for a break. Mina catches Chris for some more strikes to keep her down, but the champ breaks away from another figure 4 attempt before clinching at the seatbelt to keep Mina down for a 3 count. Winner via pinfall is still AEW Women's Champion Chris Statlander. Wheeler Yuta enters the ring to congratulate the champ on retaining as the rest of the Death Riders come to ringside as well. Jon Moxley's music hits as he comes out along Marina Shafir, and the pair head to the ringside as Mox enters, facing off the women's world champion with a look of approval before Yuta gives her a hug. Statlander reciprocates with a hug of her own as Harley looks on and shot, really realizing her friend has possibly just abandoned her. Before Chris lays out Yuta with a lariat, she stands up to Mox with a double bird salute. For she and Cameron hightailed out of the ring through the crowd, and out comes Darby Allin with a flamethrower. The Riders can start to confront Darby, but she shows that he knows how to use the weapon, and scouring through the rope enough to pose with a flamethrower on the ring steps as the Death Riders escape through the crowd. They stare down Darby, who has a microphone to let Mox know he's never going to quit before challenging Jon Moxley to an I Quit match at Wrestle Dream. Commentary talks about that hypes up next week's lineup for the anniversary of Dynamite. Darby continues to show off his flamethrowing process as Dynamite comes to a close. Bad show tonight. Terrible show tonight. Really terrible show tonight. Really terrible show tonight. Well, I ain't got that all covered, taken care of. Now it's time for something like to do. You know what it's time for? It's time for
Sometime.
I'm sorry about that. No worries. It's time for Justin's Time History, all the wrestling birthdays, pop culture, all that stuff. All you got things from Back to the Future star Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. The movie celebrated its 40th anniversary on July 3rd, 1985. The movie was released July 3rd. Movie was released July 3rd, 1985. The movie and celebrates 40th anniversary on July 3rd, 2025. Last year, last year. The movie was released July 3rd, 1985. So let's go to yesterday's September the 23rd. Hold on a second, guys. Trying to look at this thing a little up. Yeah, Kyrie Zane. Yeah, yesterday was a happy 34th birthday. Yesterday was a happy 54th birthday. Hold on a second. Yesterday was a happy 37th birthday to Kyrie Zane. She felt kind of guilty turning her back on Io Sky with the help of Asuka. Matt Hardy turned 51 yesterday. MSG show, Madison Square Garden, New York City, 18,000 were in attendance. Scott McGee defeated Les Thornton. Adrian Dons defeated Rick McGraw. The Macho Man Randy Savage defeated Paul Roma. Andre Giant defeated King Kong Bundy by DQ. Bob Orton Jr. defeated Special Larry Jones. And the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid, British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid Tom Burlington defeated Bret the Hitman Hart, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. The Missing Link defeated Lanny Poffo. Lanny Poffo. Ricky Dragon Smell defeated Dom Rocker by DQ. Corporate Kirshner defeated Ming Na Spot. And Junkyard Dog defeated Terry Funk. Now 1995. Hacksaw Jim Fun defeated Mike Corey. I believe Harlem Heat defeated Dirty Dick Slayer and Bunkhouse Buck. Let's see. Okay, on WCW World Hawaii, Johnny B. Bad defeated Otis Apollo after a Tutti Frutti. Warrior Hawk defeated Terry Richards. Kevin Stone defeated Ted Wilder. The Blue Bloods defeated Barry Houston and Julio Sanso, and Lord Steven Regal makes Sanchez submit to Regal Stretch. Paul Warner defeated Terry Morgan after Power Driver. And Arn Anderson defeat Scott Armstrong when Anderson pinned Steve after a DDT. And on WWF Superstars, the $1 Million Corporation, Kamo and Tatanka with Ted DiBiase defeated Bam Bam Bigelow and Hero Gone by countout. Hunter Hearst Helmsley defeated Tony Williams. Isaac and DES defeated Bob Holly. Sid with Ted DiBiase defeated Savio Vega by DQ. Then on WCW Saturday night, Paul Orndorff defeated Chris Kanyon. Johnny B. Bad defeated Dusty Wolf. Harlem Heat defeated the Southern Posse. Kevin Sullivan defeated The Boss. The Renegade defeated Chris Nelson. Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman defeated Eddie Jackie and Todd Morton. Meng defeated Chris Sawyer. And Paul Orndorff defeated Mike Davis. In pop culture, a couple movies released in theaters on the same day, October 23rd, September 23rd. Court's Bride, featuring the voices of Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter was released. Directed by Tim Burton. Dirty Love starring Jenny McCarthy. Roll Bounce starring Lil Bow Wow. And Flight Pen starring Jodie Foster was released. In 2015 on NXT on Impact Wrestling, Chris Melendez defeated Eric Young in a lumberjack match. Gail Kim defeated Jay to retain the TNA Women's Knockout Championship. Chagrin Uno defeat Kenny King to retain the TNA X Division Championship. Ethan the Carter III with Jeff Hardy and Tyrus defeated Rockstar Spud to retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Galloway defeated Ram, Dave Richards, Eddie Edwards, and Lashley in the TNA World Heavyweight Title #1 Contender Ship 5-Way Elimination Match. And on NXT, Asuka made her WWE debut. Yep, Asuka made her WWE debut. And Eva Marie defeated Carmella by countout. Tyler Breeze defeated Bull Dempsey. The Vaudevillains, Aiden English, and Tommy Gosh defeated Drake and Murphy, with Alexa Bliss to retain the NXT Tag Team Championship. And what else? See what else? NXT. It's open.
We'll get you some water, okay?
Okay.
For in the morning. All right.
Yeah, never mind the interruption, everybody. That's I'm gonna get my pill. Okay. Now let's go to the next day. Today's September 24th. Okay, on this day in 2015, we lost a wrestler named Fat Frank. I don't know what her name, his real name is. Okay, birthdays today. Today is a happy happy 32nd birthday to Sonya Deville. Stephanie McMahon turns 49 today. She's married to Triple H. I don't know why why WWE had to put her in the WWE Hall of Fame. It doesn't make sense. Chris Nowinski turns 47 today. April Hunter turns 52 today. And British wrestler Butcher Mason turned would have been 81 today. He died on this day, August 23rd, 2000. Let's see. On this day in 1995, on the Action Zone, and they're showing highlights, showing previews, highlights, hyping up for In Your House triple header. In Your House 3 triple header, highlights on WWE Action Zone. And then In Your House, then the In Your House triple header, In Your House triple header part 3 took place at at the Saginaw Civic Center in Saginaw, Michigan. Fatu defeated Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Savio Vega defeated Waylon Mercy. Psycho, Fatu, some of those Rikishi defeated Triple H. Savio Vega defeated Waylon Mercy. Psycho Sid, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase defeated Henry O'Godden. The British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith defeated Bam Bam Bigelow. Dean Douglas defeated with Bob Backlund defeated Razor Ramon. Bret the Hitman Hart defeated John Pierre Lafitte via submission. And Big Daddy Cool Diesel, WWE Champion, and Shawn Michaels, Intercontinental Champion, Heartbreak Kid, defeated the British Bulldog and Yokozuna in a tag team match, and replacing their own British Bulldog was replacing for Owen Hart. Tag team match with Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji. Goldust is it was a dark match here. It was a dark match on the first one. In the first one in the beginning of the show, Triple H defeating Hunter Hearst Rikishi, who was known as Rikishi defeating Triple H in a dark match. And in dark match, Goldust defeated Bob Harley. Ahmed Johnson defeated Skip with Sonny. And The Undertaker with Paul Bearer defeated King Mabel with Sir Mo. Now, this day in 1985, a TV sitcom called Growing Pains debuted on ABC on September 24th, 1985, and ended on April 25th, 1992. And all you hear me for playing the theme song and opening the show. My review. And let's see what else. What else? See what I was trying to see. Trying to see what else here. Okay, on WWE Velocity, Paul Burchill and Ring Regal defeated Funaki and Sky Tuhati. Brian Kendrick defeated Russell Simpson. In Mexico, Psychosis and Sue Crazy Juventud Guerrero defeated Nunzio and Vito. And on WWE, Friday Night SmackDown, okay. On Thursday Night SmackDown, in American Bank in Corpus Christi, Texas. Roman Reigns defeated Luke Harper, New Day, Big E and Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods defeated the Lucha Dragons, Sin Cara and Kalisto and Neville. Cesaro defeated Bo Dallas, Ryback and Dolph Ziggler defeated Kevin Owens and Rusev with Summer Rae. Dean Ambrose defeated Seth Rollins. Director of Operations returned to SmackDown when I was Kane. Paige verbal assault continued here. Yeah, she was gonna come out here and apologize and stuff like that. And that didn't happen. And see what else. And WWE Superstars in the Royal Energy Arena in Laredo, Texas. R-Truth would defeat Heath Slater. Drax Swagger defeated Adam Rose. That's do it. That will do it. That will do it for my review for everything and all the history and all that stuff. I'm a Godfather Soldiers Slimming. Hit like, make, comment, video. Subscribe to me. Hit like and all that stuff, and follow me. It's a little late chat. You started to say like the dress out of checker, sing like Lionel Richie, dance like James Brown, like to get in a hot tub. Let me sweat. Let me dry. Let me wet. Referring to Eddie Murphy doing an impression of James Brown on Saturday Night Live. Back in the 80s, I never grew up in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s. I do. But I do remember. Remember watching reruns of old school Saturday Night Live from the 80s. Back in the 90s on Comedy Central. So that'll do it for my show. Now I'm gonna close out something for all of you tonight. I'm gonna close out this #1 hit single from 1985 called "Take on Me" by Aha. One of the best songs of the 80s. So I hope all of you a good night. And here is something to close out with tonight. Aha. Take on Me by Aha. #1 hit single in 1985. So I hope all of you a good night. I'm out here. Peace. Yes, song by Sweet by Norwegian pop band Aha. So have a good night. I'm out of here. Peace.